All right. So, hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Um, Very happy to see some of you on this follow-up listening circle. Um, Hopefully, like, the these past 2 weeks have been like a moment to reflect and to think and maybe to discover something new. So if it's okay with everyone, would it be cool if we start with like a 2 minute sort of like quiet moment, centering ourselves, focus on your breathing, and we can start then with like a little icebreaker activity that Nina, would you like to lead that? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll give you 2 minutes and I'll start. You know when we're good.
Let's just close our eyes for a minute and just get in touch with ourselves before the call. Let's just scan our bodies and be aware of our breathing pattern, what our body is feeling, our surroundings. Let's just be aware. Now let's just take last 3 cycles of breathing. So inhale and exhale. Slowly open your eyes whenever you feel ready. Welcome back. Uh, so yes, let's shall we play a small game to warm up, cheer up, and get prepared for whatever we are going to do and the discussions, beautiful discussions that we are going to have afterwards. So okay, so if you can please switch on your camera and also your microphone for a few minutes for the game so that we can all play. And I'll quickly explain the rules of the game in short. So it's a very simple game. Some of you even like might have heard of it before. So it's called Sound Ball. Okay, so it's a very simple game. Imagine that you are holding a ball in your hand. Okay, and you have to pass this imaginary ball to someone and make a silly sound or silly or funny, whatever you want, a silly or funny sound. And don't consider it right or wrong. There's no right or wrong sound. Just play it from your heart and whatever comes up, you make a sound and then you pass it to someone from the group. And that person catches the ball by making the same sound, and then he or she makes a new sound, and then he or she passes it to someone else from the group. So it just goes around in the group, and then we make silly noises, funny noises, anything we want to make. And then it's also, this is a listening circle. This game is all about listening to the sound made by the other person and being aware of who is passing the ball to you. So for example, I say, if I want to pass the ball to Vaishnavi, so I say Vaishnavi and then I make a sound like whoosh. So Vaishnavi says whoosh and she catches the ball. then she makes a new sound, and then she passes it to someone else from the group. Does that sound
All
good?
right.
Does it sound simple? Clear? Okay. So yes, please switch on your mic so that it can be passed around quickly. If you want to keep your my camera off, it's fine. If you want to keep it on, then that's fine. Okay. So Sarah, lum bum 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 bum.
Lum bum 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 bum. Ria, bing bing bing.
Ping ping. Ha ha, Felipe.
Aha. Um, to Sean.
To Pruthu.
No, which sound did you make?
Make a new sound.
Oh, I gotta make a new sound. Sorry. Okay. Ah, to Pruthu.
Okay. Ah, and he was
She make a new sound.
to Ninad.
Woo! Bhakti, barabam bum 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 bum. Doom.
That's long.
We didn't hear you.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
parabam pum 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 to Sarah.
Ba-dum, bum 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 bum. And to Vaishnavi, wee.
Wee. And to Ria.
La 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 to Sean.
Okay. La 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 and boom to Ninad.
Boom. Felipe.
To Vishwani. Boo boo.
Oh, and to Sarah.
Can you make the sound again? It's okay. Like that?
Yeah, right.
And to Prutu, whoop to doop.
Whoop, doo, doo. And tada to Bhakti.
Ta-da! Yippee! Ria.
Yippee! Aw, to Vaishnavi.
Aww. And hi to Felipe.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ninad, for that. That was nice. Give us like a little bit more of energy, yeah?
Yeah, you keep that ball in your pocket now and save it for next time now.
Oh, thank you. I have put it in my pocket. Cool. Thank you all for coming here. Felipe, I am calling from United States. Do you guys want to like do a quick introduction really quick, and then we'll start doing our little different questions and whatnot. So I'll pass it on to Ria.
Hi, I'm Priya checking in from Pune, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you and looking forward to our lovely discussions like last time. So I pass it on to Sarah.
Thanks, Ria. It's nice hearing your dogs barking. That makes me think of another sound. Good sound to bring in. I'm Sarah, and I'm in Cape Town in South Africa. And yeah, happy to be here. Vaishnavi, I hope I'm saying your
Hello,
name right.
everyone. Yeah, it's right. Hello, everyone. I'm Vaishnavi, and last time's session was really nice, and I would love to be in this session and look forward to it. I nominate Sean.
Hey everyone, calling in from Pune, India, and yeah, just like Vaishnavi said, last session was good. It was a lot of fun, and I was looking forward to this. I didn't get time to do all the questions, but I thought, hey, let me just show up at least and have some fun and spend some time with you guys. So here I am, and I want to pass it on to Bhakti.
Hey, my name is Bhakti, checking in from Pune, and I'm super excited to be here. I was really looking forward for this session, and yeah, I check in. With that, I pass on to Pruthu.
Yeah, so well, I'm Prithu. I'm too from Pune, but this is my first session, so I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous and confused about what to talk or what to say. But yeah, I'll get over it soon. And it's a very enjoyable and cheersome session. And who's remaining? I guess I'm the last.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go Ninad.
Okay. So yeah, Ninad, excited to be here today. Today also happens to be my father's birthday. Now my mother and like my mother and my father have gone for a walk now. So I'm sitting here with you all now. But yeah, I'm having fun too, and I was looking forward to this call. Also looking forward to having a nice conversation with you all again. I'm seeing some of you guys after a long time. I think 2 weeks now. Last call was 2 weeks ago, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks now, and I'm looking forward to the conversations we all have today. Also, one thing I would like to share is that I just had a haircut yesterday, so I am kind of looking funny on the call today, and I would just like
You look good, man.
say that.
It looks great.
Yeah.
On to Felipe now.
Thank you. So Prutu, just to like catch you up on things, we had sort of like the same little gathering 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about compassion and what does that mean to us specifically. And at the end of we had a couple questions, we kind of like dug deep into our emotions and figure out things that we wanted to do to increase our self-compassion. So for the past 2 weeks, with like some of us, if not all of us, have tried to create or experience different things so that we can increase our self-compassion. And so this week we're gonna be sort of like analyzing what we felt, but also coming up with ideas. So what was good and what was maybe like something that wasn't as helpful. So this will, even though you didn't participate on the first conversation, this will be a good conversation for you to attend and maybe start using this practice for yourself after this. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll split into 2 groups. Ria's gonna be one of the facilitators and Ninad's gonna be the other facilitator. And I'll probably try to like bounce between each other because I have to like moderate things. But we'll have the conversation for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we'll come back together, share what we shared in our different groups, and then go back into another group, okay? So I'll start the breakout rooms right now, and I'll see you guys in 20 minutes.
Okay. Hi, Felipe. Welcome.
The cat.
Right. Okay. So, have you guys tried to? So, Pruthu, this is your first call. I do realize that, but Sean was with me in the last call as well. So, have you tried something for yourself? Have you tried any self-compassion practice?
Yes. I mean, I haven't been able to actively, do it, but I did manage to do it a little bit, if I'm being honest. It's just because, the last 2 weeks have been very, very hectic for me. I've just shifted houses and stuff like that, and there's a whole bunch of problems that were going on. But um, what I did do when I did find myself in those problems was to, just sort of be practice being kind to myself and sort of just accept my shortcomings and stuff like that. And it actually led to, I think it led to a really good understanding of how I view myself when it comes to work. And I realized that maybe I'm a little afraid of um, expressing, or rather, maybe I'm not as proud as I should be of my work and stuff like that. Like I feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, and maybe I shouldn't be uh, presenting the work that I've done. And I think that in some way, being more accepting of myself, and my mistakes in my past, uh, allowed me to sort of come to that understanding that that's not the case, and that I shouldn't be afraid of expressing myself and my work and stuff like that. So yeah, that I think was a good thing that came out of it.
That's so good to hear, and I think that was exactly the purpose of why we tried to do this collectively. So it is, yeah, definitely inspiring to hear that. Felipe, would you like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for sharing that, Sean. And I mean, honestly, for you to share that now is it's powerful, right? To like be able to like understand that you're feeling a specific way, and that it is hard to feel that way, and how can you get out of that hole, which all of us tend to do at some point or another, huh? We tend to be our worst judges. So what I did, I try to do two things. The first week, I try to keep a gratitude journal for the whole 2 weeks. Gratitude journal, let me just show you. It was super simple, nothing like, whoa, amazing. But so it was just like in my notes, and I put like in every day I put things that I was grateful for. I tried to have a goal for 3 things to be grateful for. And for the most part, I did. I think I missed like a couple days and a couple little things in each day. But again, just what you were saying, Sean, I felt like the whole purpose of understanding and learning about self-compassion is to forgive myself, and not to, put myself down when I don't fulfill something that I probably told myself that I wanted to do. And I think there's a fine line between being like, non-committal and sort of like irresponsible, right? And like, oh, whatever, I'm fine. Like self-compassion always, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything, right? and then also using self-compassion as a real tool for when I am feeling down, and what can I do about that? And so when I miss some days, I remember catching myself being like, I forgot, like, why did I do that? And then chill out, Felipe. It's okay. This is part of like, learning how to do this.
Exactly.
So yeah, so that was good. And then the second, oh, hold on, there's someone that's coming in the room, so I'm gonna bring them here. I'm gonna sign them to, well, you know what, I'm gonna sign them to room 2. Yeah, perfect. Sorry about that. So the second thing that I did the second week, well, I tried to do the gratitude journal for both weeks, but the second week, what I tried to do was to have at least a daily meditation, even if it's short, a daily meditation on gratitude as well. And so that sort of like allowed me to have to dedicate a specific to dedicate more time than just like have like a little writing thing, but actually like feel and remember, and I don't know, have like a little bit more mindfulness about it. And I love doing my meditations while I walk my dog. We live in a super pretty like area where there's like a lot of flowers. We're in the mountains, and so just like taking good breaths, walking with my dog, seeing the plants, and almost like repeating myself a mantra of like, what am I grateful for, and thinking about it. And you can start a chain, sort of like, I'm grateful for my dog, and I'm grateful for leashes, because with the leash I can take my dog, and I'm grateful for the person that made that leash, because without that person I wouldn't have the leash here. And then I'm grateful for that person being born, and so you start going to like a little scale like that. And it was really what was very eye-opening to me was that the once I started doing the gratitude process, I started like looking, I started to, there's a point where you're just, okay, what am I grateful for now, right? But then you can start like almost like modifying your way of thinking. I was like, okay, well, I can be grateful for this person, I can be grateful for something else, and then you start going into this different chains. And so it kind of like gave me the sense of like the connectivity that we all have, the interconnectivity, and like how in reality everything that we do has a reaction, a consequence. And so yeah, I really appreciated the moment of, I think for me gratitude was really important in my 2-week journey for increasing self-compassion and compassion for others. So thanks for asking, Ria.
That's amazing. So Prithu, how are you feeling? Do you feel inspired by listening to what Sean and Felipe just shared?
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
yeah, I hadn't thought from this angle. Like, so, I hadn't thought about compassion at that much depth. It was just a word for me till now. But like now, I'm feeling like there is a lot more over to know about just compassion or gratitude, like Felipe said. So it different approach for me.
And Prithu, can I ask, Ria, can I ask like Prithu a couple of questions? Because you're just joining. So one of the things that we decided to do the listening circle last week or 2 weeks ago was because it's been a tough year, right? Like we haven't really hung out with friends, we've been in lockdowns, COVID and all that. And so if you don't mind, would you like to share how your year has been so that we learn a little bit more about you?
Yeah. Okay, so 2021, right? This year, like
2020, 2020, 2021, just like
COVID,
okay.
Basically. Okay, so firstly, the whole college and all stuff was first online on Zoom, like we are now. But that was quite depressing. Like just as you said, we couldn't hang out with our friends or meet them physically or talk to them and enjoy the college life, which is particularly in the 11th and 12th standard. Like I am currently in 12th standard, so for your information. And next thing was that I am pursuing career in design, field of design. So the main things which which were like a problem to me were the tests and the entrances for the colleges in India. So because we had to, in normal case, we had to go to that center and give that test. But this year, that wasn't the option. So that was a quite big problem. But moreover, the colleges took the exams online. And this year, so today, just before a few minutes, we got the news that our 12th exams are cancelled of the CBSE board, of the 12th board exams. But till then, we were in the dilemma, like what to do, balance between studies and the next field. But yeah, now it's quite seems to be sorted. But let's okay, and I'm an artist. Okay, so I'm a hardcore or passionate sketching and all rendering and creative stuff. So that way I could see some benefits. I couldn't say benefits, but positive side maybe of this lockdown and quarantine. So that was quite different, which I couldn't have done in normal days. So that was creativity within me was like either I was just sitting in a home and drawing something, sketching something, or trying different mediums and all. So that way it was good, quite good.
That's nice. I mean, I was just gonna ask you. In fact, the sketches on the wall at the back.
Yeah,
I was like, who did that?
yes, I
They
mean,
look pretty cool.
yeah.
So
I'm,
that's an elephant, and then what's the one that's directly behind you?
uh, do you know Krishna by any chance?
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Oh,
wow, that's cool. That's
so
nice.
I have drawn that, and here, can you see?
Yeah.
And here it is the Garuda.
Yeah.
I mean, from the mythological character.
Very cool.
Are those on your wall or is it paper? Oh, it's paper,
No,
huh?
no, wall.
Oh, it's on your
No.
wall? No way.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Your mom must be very accepting of you.
That's amazing, Prithu. So, would you like to share a little about how you have coped emotionally and mentally through this past year?
Yeah. Mm. Okay, so when this all started, I was bit under some kind of pressure, maybe, or inconvenience was a lot. Even my sibling or my parents were like uncomfortable in the environment or while working, or all the family members are in one home and doing their own job and all stuff. So that was a bit sometimes chaotic, sometimes puzzling, that what to do, how to do. And but later on, after like 3 to 4 months and all, that got adjusted, and I started feeling like just got regular as a routine, like it happened, like it was like a regular routine and all. And so, but yeah, some at times I do feel like we have to. It is required. I mean, to go out of the house or to meet someone or to talk with someone. But now, as we don't have any option, that can't be helped. But it's okay, right? Now it has been okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This year was hard for all of us, and I think we've all had different mechanisms to cope. But I think for me, at least, compassion was the key here, because trying to understand that even your family members might need their space, you might need your space, and how important it is. Yet it is still important to stay connected, and also, yeah, I think compassion was really the hero ingredient in making this year work for me. And like Felipe mentioned, I as well kept a little gratitude journal. I don't know if you can see it. It's just a tiny little journal that I kept. And yeah, even I tried to write in it regularly. So the first 2 days, it felt like I'm trying to do something really different. It felt like a task that I had to do almost. But then after about 2 3 days, I just kind of eased into it, and now it's just like routine for me. Like every day before I go to sleep, I just take out my gratitude journal. I write in it. I write anything that I can think of that I'm grateful for throughout the day, and I just take 5 minutes to close my eyes and really feel that gratitude and that love for the people or the situations or the things that uh, have really made my day. And I think that has worked so much for me. And another thing I've learned is to uh, be able to stand up for myself or for my opinions, because I used to be really shy when it came to sharing my opinions, because I felt like, maybe someone might get offended if I share this, or I used to just overthink that so much. But I've realized that in the past 2 3 days, past 2 weeks, where such situations have come, I've tried to hold my stand, and I've tried to express what I actually felt, and it feels so good. I mean, it's just uh, I was just able to redeem myself, I felt like. And I think that was so important for me to do at some point in time. And I think it's because of the call that we had last time. So I'm grateful for that too.
Ria, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome how like self-compassion allowed you to have self-respect and maybe even create boundaries, which are so healthy and necessary for us to understand how we're feeling. And that comes from like understanding our emotions and feeling, feeling it, like what we feel. So wow, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Can you give an example about how you, what do you write in exactly in that journal?
Oh,
Example.
it just depends on whatever that day goes like. But so for instance, every day I'm so grateful that since the pandemic started, none of my closest family members have been affected, and I think that is such a blessing, because there have been times where we've had to go out, and so my dad's friends were really severely affected, and he had to make so many trips to the hospital, yet all of us are safe and nothing has happened to us. I'm so grateful for that. Um, Another thing is I have such media. I have this computer, I have this webcam through which I can talk to you guys. I can connect with you all. So yeah, without this technology, I think I'd have gone insane by now. So I'm grateful for that. So just simple things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Doesn't really, have to be anything. Like when we think of the word compassion or any of these qualities, we think that we have to be like some holy thing, or something special has to happen. But it actually is just everything that occurs to you in that time. You just sort of say, you express it, and that expression, once you start doing it, it happens naturally. You don't have to force it, or you don't have to like be really important, or like think important thoughts. We always think that we have to think important thoughts in order to be impactful, but that's not always the case. It could just be something simple. You can just be grateful for the moment that you're feeling right now, and that's about it. It could just stop at that. It doesn't have to be anything impactful in that sense.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you guys in the main breakout room.
Sorry, Vasu, I think you had something to say, right? We can quickly say it in the next room.
Thank you, Nida.
Hi Vasu, thanks for being here. I just assigned you to room 2 when you showed up, so I'm sorry that I couldn't like welcome you, but I'm sure Ninad was good in there. Great, I think all of us are here. Yes. Okay, so I was in Ria's room, and thank you, Ria, for facilitating that. That was awesome. Ninad and your group, or even Ria and our group, like, is there anyone that would like to share what you discussed?
Is it okay if
Hi,
I
can
share?
I?
Okay, yeah,
All
go
right,
ahead, go ahead.
yeah,
I was
you
waiting for
can.
something. Go ahead, go ahead.
Now, we are just in our breakout room, we were just talking about how in these 2 weeks, the act of self-compassion and uh, like in what ways we have affected on it and worked ourselves around the point of self-compassion. Like for many people, self-compassion is reflected in different ways. For one, it can be dancing. For one, it can be having morning walks, or just accepting the fact that you can be imperfect, or accepting your flaws, and many such things, like analyzing yourself, and just being close, not close actually, but accepting yourself as you are, and doing many such things that would that are acts of self-compassion. Many things, like you just pamper yourself, like skincare or something, many such things like that. So we just discussed about the things which we had talked in the last listening circle 2 weeks ago, and how we have reflected upon it.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. And so, what was your personal experience like? What did you do in order to practice self-compassion during this 2 weeks? Do you want to share?
Yeah, it was just that 13 that 13-day self-compassion challenge, that that article or that document which was shared last time. I hadn't taken a look at it, but I inadvertently followed some of it. Like there was a point where you get in touch with nature. So I had gone on, like, I went on morning walks on really pretty hills, and the area around me, which is lush green, and in like I got in touch with nature, which was really enriching. It was like you start your day with a refreshing bout of, say, workout also, and just looking at the nature all around you. So yeah, I inadvertently followed the list. And yeah, morning walks are an act of self-compassion for myself, because just getting up early in the morning is quite difficult for me. But yeah, I'm doing it these days. So yeah, that was my personal experience, and
Thank you.
and accepting my flaws as I am, and like discovering that, oh my god, I have this flaw, and just getting through it. Okay, I have to deal with this, and I have to make myself tolerant, or like to just not react instantly, or just to tone down that flaw to the limit I can, so that it does not harm people, because people cannot change immediately, right? So yeah, that's about it.
Thanks for sharing that. That's powerful. And just a reminder, like for some people, one character flaw can be a very like awesome thing for some other people. So it's just like about perception, right? So that's another thing to also have and understand about self-compassion. I would love for Ria to share what she was sharing with us in our group, because it was super powerful. And I thought it was like really cool how there are these two topics connected. Would you mind, Ria?
Yeah, thank you. So, what we kind of discussed in our group, Felipe did the same thing. So we maintained this little, I maintained this little gratitude journal, and I used to, I do write in it every day before I go to bed. And initially, for the first 2-3 days, it felt like almost like a task, and I was like, okay, no, I've got to do this now, almost as if it was work. But then after 2-3 days, I got used to it. It just became a part of my day, and so every day before I go to bed, I write in my journal, and I write about the things that I'm grateful for throughout the day. So whatever that comes to mind, I just write it. And for me, I think another thing that I've done is I've tried to uh, keep my stand on my opinions, because initially I used to be like really um, influenced by what other people said, and my opinion used to kind of start swaying towards theirs, even though I had a different one, and I used to be scared almost to share what I felt. But I think in a way, I've been honest with myself by expressing what I truly feel, and I've tried to keep my stand, or just being brutally honest with someone about something that might have bothered me, or maybe things like that. So that was really difficult. That used to be really difficult for me, but I'm trying to change that, and I think that was just so powerful. It felt redeeming, and I feel great that I could actually say what I wanted to say, and I could express myself as I am. So I think that was really powerful. And along with that, I've tried to do my workout consistently every day. Haven't done it for 2 days now because there's something wrong with my neck and my hand. But for the 2 weeks, I did not miss even one day. So I'm so happy about that, because I'm not at all a sports person, and working out and things like that's so not my thing. But yeah, to maintain my health, so I've taken care of myself and I've been honest with myself, and I think I've extended my compassion by keeping this gratitude journal. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ria. And so we see, you know, how self-compassion can mean a walk in nature and connecting with our environment. How self-compassion also means to love yourself and appreciate and respect your opinion and have self-respect. That's powerful, Ria. Thank you so much. I thought that was really cool how it can be related. But then again, I feel like most of us probably can link compassion or self-compassion to almost anything if we see it in the right way. Ninad, would you like to share something about your group a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So what we realize is what we discussed was that there are so many like simple and small acts that we do every day that are an act of compassion towards self. It can be dancing, it can be listening to to yourself and to others. It can be it can be forgiving yourself in ways. It can be watching some episode once in a while to just and relax. And it can be very different activities, but the thing is that they are a part of our daily life. But when we are aware of them, we start to do them with more energy and more enthusiasm. Like I think even Ria mentioned, even Vaishnavi mentioned that these acts feel tiring sometimes, but when we are like aware of what good they are doing to us and how good it feels, so more awareness gets more enthusiasm in it. And I think one of the insights that I had is like, yeah, I think even Vaishnavi said that it's like accepting yourself, accepting your flaws, forgiving yourself from time to time, not being too hard on yourself. These are like small acts of compassion, and they are present in our daily life. But when we are more aware of them, we just realized how beautiful our life is. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share what did you do during these 2 weeks? Please, Sean.
Yeah, so actually, I wanted to talk about one of the points that we were having in our group, and that was the point that you made, Felipe, where you were drawing sort of like strings of gratitude, like connections of gratitude. Like you started off with being able to take a walk in the woods, then you were like grateful for being able to walk your dog, then grateful that the dog had a leash, and you were grateful for the man who made the leash, and then there's a and the conclusion was that everybody is connected, everything is connected. And for me that was really that really hit home, because I'm when I'm hearing everybody talk, our problems, or rather and even the solutions that we find to those problems, they might not be like similar in like exactly the same way, but they have a central root to it. And then that really is comforting to know, like this connection and the sense of um, that gratitude for that connection was something that I think is really powerful. So thank you for putting it in such a strange way, actually, because I never thought about it. I never thought of a dog to the leash, to the man who made the leash. It was crazy. It was good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And the funny thing about it is that you can probably find a connection to almost anything, even like someone that you probably don't get along with, or a place or organization or company that maybe you don't support, but somehow it's related. And so you see that even the things that you don't like, you might have to be grateful for those in order to get to the point that you want to get grateful to. So yeah, it's important to see that, and we all have our different points of view and whatnot, right? So yeah, I thought it was a cool exercise. Anybody else would like to share another sort of like experience that they did during these 2 weeks? I don't know, Sarah, Vasu, Bhakti.
I'll share. So yeah, in these 2 weeks, I did all possible things which makes me happy. Like I am dancing, I am choreographing people. This is very challenging actually, but yeah, it makes me happy. I am eating all kind of foods like junk food. Today I ate 2 dishes which are as good as increasing cholesterol and stuff. But yeah, it makes me happy. Yeah, and if my mom knows it, she's gonna beat me up or something. I know, but yeah, I didn't tell her. Actually, I was at my sister's house. So yeah, I ate junk food. Then I'm watching series. Yeah, and one thing I would like to add, my sister has adopted this cute little kitten, and she has named her Coco. And yeah, sometimes I just go to her house and just play with her, and it's so relaxing when you play with an animal, especially if it's your pet. She isn't my pet, but she's so small and she's so sweet, and like, even if I hold her in my hand, I am like, okay, I want to protect you from this entire world, and I will protect you and I will love you. And I was like, okay, what's wrong with me? And I was like, oh wow, this is so nice. This is so nice. So yeah, like this is, even I would like to add one point. Playing with pets is self-compassion. Like try it if you're anxious, if you're happy, if you're sad. Like just play with a damn animal. Dogs help better, in my opinion. But yeah, she didn't have a dog. She had a cat. So like yeah, this was great. So yeah, thank you.
Cute. Thank you, Bhakti. And it's so true. I mean, it's so true about animals and pets in general. I feel like there is such a soothing nature about them. I have a dog, and I honestly, I mean, she's made my life so much better just by being with me. So thanks for sharing that. And yes, and spending time with animals is self-compassion for sure. Thank you. So we should be now heading to our second breakout room. We'll be with the same group again. We'll discuss a couple other questions, and then we'll be there for like 15-20 minutes and gather back. So I will open the rooms once again. Ninad, Ria, you guys good with the questions? So breakout rooms, open all rooms. All right, we'll see you soon, guys.
We're going to, yeah. So we do have a few questions on which we can all discuss and share our views. I think we've covered quite a bit of that in our first breakout room, right? But I think just before we left the breakout room, I think Sean was in the middle of something that he wanted to say. So.
I think I think oh, there he is. He just joined. Cool.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're totally fine.
Sean, were you willing to share something before we had to, just jump into the main room? Were you wanting to share a little more on that? I think
No.
Yeah.
I was laughing when I don't remember her name, but I think Bhakti. She said that though, dogs are more fun than cats, and I'm a super cat person. I think cats are more fun than dogs. I was just laughing about that.
And I was just gonna bring that up. Like that's all perception, right? And it's like depending on like what you feel more comfortable with. So yeah. I'm gonna be right back, you guys. Okay.
Sure.
So I think we've pretty much already shared what we did to practice self-compassion, but were there any challenges that you faced while practicing self-compassion, or did it happen that so in my case, like it was almost tiring for the first 2 days to think of things I'm grateful for and write them, but then eventually I got used to it. I mean, did you have a similar experience in whatever you did, Sean?
Yeah. So at times it felt a little forced, and I think that was a challenge because when you force something like this, which is such a sort of, it is a natural instinct, but because we're not like because we don't tune into it on a regular basis, it becomes something that we have to do in order to feel it in its full force. And I mean, you could go about blaming yourself, you could go about blaming society for not having, you know compassion as a more central thought, and you could blame people and things endlessly. But I think that when you start to do it more, it becomes sort of like anything else, it becomes second nature. And so for me, I found myself struggling at times to be like sort of, self compassionate, in the sense, specifically in the last 2 weeks I've been facing a lot of um like self esteem issues when it came to my work, because I was in the middle of pitching to a new client, and I had to prepare like my portfolio, because I lost all my work. My previous laptop crashed, and so I had to like redo my portfolio, my profile. And not when I was doing the portfolio, the profile, but when I was like, away in my thoughts and sort of thinking about it, I found myself sort of forcing myself to be compassionate, like self-compassionate, or kind to myself. And I felt that that was a bit of a challenge, because when I was doing that, it sort of, it got cut, because I was like, oh, why are you being so weak? Or why you have to be strong? And I was thinking all these thoughts, and so then I realized that wasn't like uh, natural. I don't know if that's properly explaining it, but then there were other times when it was just like so easy to forgive myself and sort of say that, it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay that you feel a little ashamed, or you feel a little afraid of who you are as a personality. And then that was when, the breakthrough, eh, sort of came. And so yeah, that was like what I thought was like a, you know quite a big sort of a challenge, was that when it felt forced, it was difficult, but when it came easy, it was just so simple and so sweet. And I think, other than that, um sort of making the time to, I don't know if that even makes sense, because you're supposed to be like, these things are supposed to come naturally to you, and then you sort of say, oh no, I have a timetable, like 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, be compassionate. And so I think that maybe that was the second sort of challenge, where I had to like, or I felt the need that I had to like switch it on, and then, oh, now I have to be compassionate, and then switch it off again and get back into being aggressive with stuff that I have to do, and people have to deal with. And so yeah, that was another challenge that I sort of faced. And so it was a learning though, because I realized that the more you do it, the more it becomes part of who you are, and then the easier it becomes. And then so you don't have to switch it on and switch it off, and you don't have to struggle with it so much. It comes more naturally.
Thank you. That was lovely, and yeah, definitely. I think we've all faced a few challenges or a
Yeah.
little difficulties, but yeah, I think so. I mean, would you say that being compassionate to yourself reframed your experience, in whatever aspects, so be it your work or just the way you saw yourself, or
Yeah, actually, it made me realize that I need to be. I think that, so in really difficult situations, really difficult emotional situations, I found myself not holding on to the frustration so much as before. It was easier to let go and uh, realize that the other person in front of you is probably going through something bad, and it's not in your best interest or their best interest to stay mad at them or frustrated. And so that was cool, because I generally am a kind of a person, if I'm passive aggressive, so I will like sort of get frustrated, but I'll keep it inside, and then it's just like it's hot coal. And so yeah, and then so being able to sort of breathe when that fire is burning inside, just sort of, it calmed me down, and it allowed me to open up and be less sort of frustrated and angry to the person in front of me as well. And so that was cool. I think that's cool. That's something nice that came out of it.
Yeah, just sorry,
Right.
Felipe, were you going to say something?
Oh, I mean, I just had like a really like quick insight from what Sean was just saying, about, when some, it might have felt at the beginning that you were like forcing compassion or having like this moment or how to do it. Because to me, what I did was like I set an alarm, like a daily alarm, because not so much because it's like, oh, compassion time now at 9 a.m., but it's more about like, hey, remember you need to do this because you're trying. I have noticed that compassion or self-compassion, just like almost any other thing in our lives, or an attitude of compassion, and just like any other attitude in our lives, comes with practice, almost like as a habit. And in order for us to create a habit, we need to start with some sort of like a process, so something that will instill the habit, right? And so in this case for me, I would have completely forgotten about to create this habit had it not been for that alarm. And so for me, that alarm was like a key thing for me to remember. Like, even if I was busy at that time, I would remind myself like, oh yeah, that alarm rang. I need to do the gratitude journal. And so like the first couple of days, just like Ria said, just like you said, it felt a little forced because like, oh, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm doing this. But once I started writing, it was like obvious that it was like the best thing that could have happened, right? Just like being grateful is so nice. But after on the second week, I realized the gratitude journal part was like very much easy on me, but it was hard for me to do the meditation for the first week, or like,
Yeah.
And I missed the meditation a couple of days this past, like the last 2 days. But I noticed that there's an element of habit. Like you need to create some sort of habit. You need to like actually almost like force yourself or push yourself to get to do something that you're not used to doing, which led me to the connection of unlearning. And in this case, you kind of like also said, like you were like putting yourself down, and with self-compassion, you kind of like realize that you don't need to do that, and you're actually a very valuable person. And so the habit of compassion allowed me to unlearn something that I usually tend to do so much. Like I used to always, like, for example, one of the things that I changed, this is like years ago, but I always, like, if I did something dumb or stupid, I'd be like, why are you so dumb, Felipe? Like, stupid. So like telling myself dumb, telling myself stupid. I'm like, even though it was just a monologue, and it was and maybe I didn't fully felt stupid or dumb, saying that to myself, saying that to my body, saying that to my poor little cells all over my body, like we felt it. I felt it. And so eliminating that sort of vocabulary is unlearning, is creating a new habit, and it's evolving with self-compassion. So thanks for that insight, because honestly, that's like coming up to me right now, and that's great. So thank you.
Yeah, I know that, you're welcome. And it's so true, like what you said, because I also realized that it's like a muscle. You have to build it, and then the only way you can do that is by repetition. And so eventually it stops becoming forced, and then it becomes part of you, just like how your negative thoughts and what you were saying to yourself became a part of you, because either it was said to you. Well, in my case, I a lot of negative things were said to me as a kid, or during my teenage years growing up, I had a lot of negative self-beliefs and stuff like that. And so it became sort of ingrained. And in the same way, you can reverse it, you can flip it on its head, but it takes time. And so I see your point of why it's important to form the habit, to have those reminders, because then it becomes, it's like a pick me up, and then it makes it easier. It makes the process of getting ingrained easier. So yeah, thanks for that. That's something that I didn't think about, or rather I looked at it as saying, oh, I don't need to do that because I'm perfect. But yeah, that's but that's why you learn. That's why when you listen you learn. And so thanks for that. That's cool. I'm going to keep that in mind.
Thank you. That was truly amazing. I mean, I absolutely agree as well with what both of you shared. And Felipe, like you mentioned, that sometimes we need to unlearn our old, if I may say, negative patterns. And I think it's so important that we condition our minds to create new patterns that are in alignment with ourselves, that are in alignment with the compassion that we should have for ourselves. And I think that was wonderful. And for me, what reminded me to practice the things that I had decided to was, so my mom used to start making breakfast, and then I remembered, oh, it's workout time. So the first 2 days I was like, oh God, I don't want to work out. And then I used to be so just so lazy, but I'm like, okay, fine, let's add one more push-up. I used to do that. And then eventually I just didn't know when it became a 30-minute workout from a 5-minute workout, from a 10-minute workout. So I think that was awesome. And every night when I used to brush my teeth, so it acted like a reminder that, oh, I have to write in my journal now, and then I have to, yeah. So, I mean, I didn't set an alarm for that, but these little things acted as alarms for me.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, so you used all their habits to remind you of a new habit. That's clever. That's clever. Pruchi, we got 30 seconds. Is there anything that you'd like to say? I mean, I'm sorry that we didn't like ask you more things, but how are you feeling about this conversation so far?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of idea, but I'm still somehow unclear. Like as I was not there for previous session, but yeah, that's pretty sounds good.
Cool.
I'll get over it.
All right, welcome. How was your second little breakout room? Does anybody want to like share something?
I'll kind of summarize. Okay, you go first, then I'll go.
Okay. So we basically talked about what keeps you motivated. Basically, like what is your motivation to do a particular thing for yourself, for self-compassion. So yeah, or not only for self-compassion, but for many other things. So like I talked about how I keep Hermione Granger's pick in front of me to keep me motivated for studying, because that's really very important. Because I don't know why, but I've stopped studying since many weeks, I would say, and I really need to study because my exams are approaching and all stuff. So I keep Hermione's pick in front of me to motivate myself for studying. And then how I watch YouTube videos for like motivating me to dance, because before this week I never really even felt to dance, because I don't know what got into me, and I just feel to lay on my bed and just watch few series and then eat and sleep. But yeah, this last 2 weeks have really been productive, and these things are what keeping me motivated. And I really liked how Nina said that he has deleted Instagram so that he'll be more productive. And I really think I should do the same, but I can't, because I'm really addicted to watching reels of puppies and babies and whatnot. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Nina, you were gonna say something. Go for it.
Yeah. So for our first question was about share ways that you were able to remember to do the habit. So we kind of tweaked it, and we talked about how we are able to keep ourselves motivated to practice self-compassion on a daily basis. So we came up with, everyone shared their views and shared their insights and shared their methods of doing and practicing the acts of self-compassion. So what stood out for me personally was how we are practicing little things. Like I shared about this. I think even Sarah said about we are having wallpapers on our phone about the things that we want to achieve. So it's like an act of self-compassion to achieve what you want to do and make yourself happy. Also, having posters in our rooms or maintaining a diary, a journal, and yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that we shared. There's so much more to share, so I'll give the other guys a chance. I don't want to keep speaking because when I start, I just go on and on. So yeah, anyone else from the group if they want to share.
I think you've captured it really well. And I'm so inspired by what you said that and I know I shared this in the smaller group, but I want the rest of the group to know. Ninad's suggestion, we were in the previous session as well, we were talking about like the pressure of to-do lists and like how much we, and how we have to get through all these things in a day. And Ninad has a to-be list, which I really loved. So you have a to-do list and a to-be list. And I think that's something that I'm going to take forward and practice for myself and like work that out. So I think what came out, it was just so great sharing all these different things, because I've been inspired by each person of like, oh, I could do that. Like I could put a picture of Hermione Granger or somebody on my wall to inspire me. It's yeah. So it's lovely to hear.
And so what were some ways that you reminded, like you were able to remind yourself to practice self-compassion, or like to do whatever practice you were doing?
Are you directing it to me or to
yeah. So
Oh.
like asking you specifically, like, so everybody share, but what did you do specifically?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying to the group. Like I tried my best to keep up with it, but I didn't actually have like a way of reminding myself. So that's why it was just great hearing everybody else's, because I was like, oh, I should have done that. So I didn't actually, apart from just I think just like each day, just trying to like stop myself and or just become more aware of my thoughts around my practice was becoming like aware of my thoughts and the pressure that I was putting on myself in terms of work and to-do lists and all of that sort of thing. So at the end of the day, kind of not feeling disappointed, but rather feeling grateful for like what I have achieved and what I have been able to do, and not being so kind of hard on myself. So I'm definitely going to adopt like just putting more inspirational messages around my space and that sort of thing, to kind of remind myself of all these wonderful self-compassion tools.
Cool, awesome. One of the things that we discussed in our group that kind of like came up was the relationship between so having the relationship between self-compassion and creating it as a habit. So all of us in our group sort of felt a little, not awkward or odd, but it felt almost like a task, like the first couple of days to start some sort of practice for us to experience more self-compassion. And so it almost felt like a chore, and sometimes we missed it, and like, we could feel bad about things and whatnot. But as we attached it to either like another habit, or we had a reminder of it and we started doing it, it kind of like came a little bit easier. But that also led us to the thought of the relationship that we have as we practice self-compassion and we created a habit. We end up doing a lot of unlearning, a lot of things that we start noticing things that we do to ourselves that maybe are hurtful or that damage us without realizing. So something as basic and simple as telling yourself like, oh, you're so dumb or you're so stupid, you know, like just yourself, right? And you know that you might not be saying it like super seriously, but your body like knows it, your body feels it, your body like can sense that. And so eliminating that vocabulary from your mind or that attitude from your inside voice or whatever is a process of unlearning. And creating practices of self-compassion that become habits allows us to have more of those unlearning moments in order for us to care more for ourselves and to actually expand that self-compassion, because we are eliminating bad habits and unlearning the bad habits, but you know, creating some new ones that will help us to love ourselves a little bit more. But that takes practice, that takes a habit, that takes you know, some sort of like reminder. So Ria, do you want to share like what were you doing in order for you to remind yourself about like your self-compassionate moments?
I think you pretty much kind of summarized it, but I had read Nina's blog about habits, and he had written there that how we can use one habit to build a new one, and I just kind of got inspired by that, and so I decided to work out, and like I said, that's totally not my thing, but the moment my mom went into the kitchen to make breakfast, I was like, okay, I've got to work out now. And for the first 2 days, I was just like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Please don't make me do this. But then I just tried to keep myself inspired and, you know, kept adding a push-up every day, for instance. And I you know, by the time, I mean, right now when I'm sharing this, I've already gone from my 10-minute workout to my 30-minute workout now. So I felt that was really good. And I didn't have to set an alarm for that because, like I said, my mom making breakfast, and you know, it just, my mind was conditioned to that now, that okay, no, it's workout time, and then I get to have breakfast. So that's what I did. And as far as the gratitude journal is concerned, I just used brushing my teeth as a reminder. So, you know, after I brushed my teeth, I'm like, okay, I've got to write this, or before, yeah. So.
And I love that. I thought that was so clever. Nina, I'm so happy that you had that on your blog, because attaching a habit to another one that is already like a created habit is so, I mean, it almost feels so easy, right? That's great. So thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a great idea to understand and focus more on our things.
If you want, I'll just explain it in short how we can do that.
Please do.
Like everyone can practice it. So if you want to start a new habit, which like every time you start a new habit, it kind of feels difficult. It feels kind of a burden when it's kind of new. So to have a reminder for that new habit, or to make it easier to include it in your schedule every day, you can attach it with every habit that you any habit that you do every day without fail. Like it can be like brushing your teeth, having a breakfast, having lunch, dinner, or going to the washroom. It can be anything, but it has to be something that you do every day, so that it acts like a reminder to do that. So if I want to start reading a book, and so if I want to start reading a book every day, I can attach it, or I can, you know, associate it with the habit of having coffee in the morning or in the evening. So every time I drink my coffee, I'm reminded to read the book, and slowly it becomes a new habit, and then you can attach a new habit after you're reading. So it becomes very easy. And sometimes if you you know, miss reading, even the coffee will start feeling incomplete. You will start, no, I have to read now. I have to read now. If you don't read, then that coffee won't even give you that satisfaction that it usually gives. So it's like a motivation to read every time you drink coffee. Or you can also, you know, associate a specific time, or date it in some cases to the habit. So like every day my schedule is like, if I read books in the evening. If I want to watch something, I do it in the evening. I rest during the afternoon. I work in the morning. I don't have a specific like timetable to 10 to 11 you have to do the work, and I don't have a like strict timetable for it. But I've associated these things with the schedule, like morning, afternoon, night, evening, and stuff like that. So it makes it easier to me for me to do this work. So sometimes if I don't do the work in the morning starts feeling incomplete for me. So that's how I do things personally to remind me to do the things that I have to.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's like a very like nice tip for all of us to like, implement more habits in our daily routines. So thank you for that. That's super great. So we got 5 minutes left, and based on we used an hour and a half. I thought we were gonna be way done by now, but this is great. I love the conversations that we've had. So based on the past 2 weeks experience, do you think there's a way to extend compassion to others and others, meaning anything around you, either the environment or your dog or your mom or your dad or your brothers or sisters or just a random person. Honestly, I mean, this should be like anyone, right? And obviously we have to remind ourselves that self-compassion is a practice that it's a habit, and so it needs to be constantly nourished. And as we develop more, I mean, as we have it more as a habit, we develop more of that self-compassion, which leads us to more compassion for others. And so based on your experiences, is there anything that you want to like either say or you want to do after this, in order for you to timer for you to keep experiencing compassion or expand or extending compassion to others?
Hi, can I go ahead?
Please.
I would just like to express my gratitude. Like attending these sessions, I understand, and I get to discover new ways that how can I be focused? How can I express compassion towards myself? Like many points mentioned by either Ninad, Riya, or many people right now. It's like for even working out, you have to tell yourself, uh, like, you need to do this, or else it won't be good for you in the future. You'll suffer a lot if you don't know. And many such things like putting up a poster in your room. For that matter, I'm a law aspirant. So I put up certain quotes of people. There's this one quote by Charles Lamb which says, he is no lawyer who cannot take two sides. For me, that is very inspiring because like I am going to be a lawyer, so that I inculcate that each uh, in each talk of me, or like everything. Like if there is a particular situation or a controversy or any such thing, I try to understand. I ask why is it so, and I try to understand both sides of it. So that one thing which is really helping me, that will help me in the future also. And many such things which are mentioned in these discussions are like, if I implement them, if I start implementing them in my life, it will be so great. And I really feel very happy attending these discussions. I'm grateful to my friend for recommending me these. And I'm grateful to you people for arranging listening circles like these, so that people from all around can join and benefit from these discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Anybody would like to say something else? Bhakti?
Yeah, as Vaishnavi said, even I am grateful for these circles, and I think that we should stay connected. So, like, can't we just form a WhatsApp group or any other social networking type group of all of us, and so that we can take, I guess, in 2 weeks one circle maybe, and just listening circles like this. And to add, we can do like generations, which is like every one of us. Yeah, Nina said that in last meeting we dealt with four feelings: mad, sad, fear, and glad. So like we'll express our feelings without the fear of getting judged. uh, yeah, by that, even by that, we can really spread compassion. So we'll do these two things. Like we should do these two things to stay connected. We'll just form a group on WhatsApp, and if there's the circles like these, you can just update, like let's have a circle on Tuesday, or let's have a circle on any day people are convenient of.
Thanks for sharing that, Bhakti. And that's one of the goals that we have with the Youth Compassion Collaborative here with the Charter for Compassion is to not just have an event or two and be done, but create a community. Especially now where, well, you guys in India right now are having a pretty hard time with COVID, right? Like it's a lot more extreme than in most countries. The US went through that maybe, you know, a little bit before then. And I realized like more like most other people that even though we can't have like in-person things, we can still have virtual and online communities that can help us to be sort of like supportive groups like this, you know, having these conversations really help a lot. And so we'll definitely, I'll send an email with the kind of like what I did last time. I'll send an email with the recording of this meeting if you guys want to see it again. I'll put you know, some links for you to guys join. The website is still in process, but it's developing, which is really nice. Once we have the website, we'll have a lot of a stronger community, so that'll be really exciting. But we have our Instagram account, which I totally typed wrong because I put XOM instead of com. So let me just fix that right now. So we have the Instagram account that we're gonna be uploading things there. I'm probably gonna like maybe like come up with or think of some sort of challenge that I can put in the email. Maybe like record ourselves and have like a little video that we can post on that account, or maybe your account, and then we post it on, reposted it with Youth Compassion Collab, but you know, talking about the experiences that we had and then how can we inspire others. But be sure to, I mean, we can create a WhatsApp group, and be sure to follow that Instagram account so that you can stay in touch with things, because we will keep doing more listening circles and other activities, especially once the website is ready. Anybody else would like to say anything before we close this meeting? We feeling good? Are we feeling self-compassionate and hopefully compassionate to others as well? Remind yourselves that you are incredible, that you are working towards becoming always a kinder, more compassionate human being. And that includes to forgive yourself, to unlearn, to create habits, and to remember that you're not perfect and nobody has to achieve perfection. We are here to learn and to progress and to keep being who we are. Okay, so thank you for participating. I really appreciate your support, and we'll have more activities for us to keep growing. So we'll see you guys soon, and you know, check out Ninad's blogs and everything, because those are super helpful to like keep those habits going. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good day or night, I guess. Go to sleep, you guys. Okay, bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.